And it was really interesting because you're like Rambo, and you did geotagging there, and you saw the way Twitter had geotagged it.
In fact, yes, the Leh is the capital of Ladakh, and on a Sunday, which was 19th of October, I just went to the war memorial there to do a live for my audience and my followers on Twitter, saying that I'm here and I will be bringing you reports. And when I came back, wanted to look at the recording again. The first thing that strikes me is that it is showing location Republic of China. Now that really shook me, and so I asked my camera person colleague, "What location did you put? I think you made a mistake. I think people are going to roast us for this." He said, "No, sir, I had put in Leh itself." I said, "Okay, let's try again," and we tried again, and then again it came up as Leh, People's Republic of China. That's where my antennas went up, and that's where I then 4 hours later I brought this up again and did a live broadcast, bringing to everybody's attention that Twitter is doing something wrong. It is showing Leh to be part of China, especially at a time when there is this standoff happening on the border, not very far from where I was. And it looked as if it was deliberate. It was a malicious intent with which this geotagging was done. So I attracted everybody's attention. I tagged.
You got my attention. And it was interesting because it shows the way Chinese Communist Party, and we have to discuss the Chinese Communist Party because there's such a belligerent state out there, and they've expressed that in a lot of ways. And one of the ways that they've expressed it is how they've intruded into our own kind of technological apparatus here.
Yes.
And they use what's called discourse power, which has a lot of money behind it, right? And Twitter really obliged them, which you and I spoke about, that Twitter was very obliging to this discourse power, the control of the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh, indeed it is. And the irony is Twitter is banned in China. Despite that, Twitter is obliging the Chinese Communist Party. Twitter is taking investment from the Chinese and the Chinese Communist Party, I'm sure. And that is why the power that the Chinese Communist Party holds over big technology companies in the United States. And I think they somehow have got entangled into the Chinese web, which is now creating its own problems. But I'm glad to report that today one user of Twitter in Leh was tagging something about one road there. And today, after the government of India wrote a protest letter and a warning letter, and the parliamentarians also warned Twitter, they have now finally corrected it. So now Leh shows as Leh, Union Territory of Ladakh, which I'm glad to say within a month or so this has happened.
Yeah, but it's actually such a significant thing because war expresses itself in so many different ways, and particularly with India. And we're going to get into it in a lot more detail. And I also am going to be respectful of people's time, so we're going to cram through it. We have a lot of questions here, and for you, it's late at night.
Yes,
so,
of course.
Give us the cue when it's over by yawning. As soon as you go like that, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wars express itself in so many different ways, and diplomacy is one of them. And another one of them is water wars, which we saw that kind of with data sharing agreements, the lack of a data sharing agreement with water in India and the floods. And then we also saw that with the Doklam standoff.